Chapter 1: The Fall of the Executive. The rain poured down in relentless sheets, drenching the city in a sorrowful gray that mirrored the mood of its inhabitants. The towering skyscrapers reflected a world that was both beautiful and brutal, each glass panel a testament to ambition and greed. At the zenith of this corporate jungle loomed the office of Herbert Thorne, CEO of Zenith Dynamics, a company that had clawed its way to the top of the tech world with ruthless ingenuity and an insatiable appetite for power. Herbert sat behind his polished mahogany desk, fingers steepled as he regarded the city with a grim satisfaction. The financial reports sprawled before him like the remains of a war, profits soaring, debts buried, and competitors crushed. Yet in that moment, something unsettled him, a whisper of discontent creeping through the cracks of his otherwise impenetrable façade. He allowed himself a brief moment of nostalgia, craving the thrill of ambition, the chase of success that had so often fueled his rise. "Mr. Thorne, the board is waiting," a voice broke through his reverie. It was Sarah, his assistant, her expression tense as she clutched a tablet loaded with yet another set of KPI metrics. "Send them in," he replied tersely, dismissing the gnawing sense of foreboding. There were important matters to discuss: an acquisition, a rivalry threatening his territory, a power play he had to orchestrate. Herbert prided himself on never losing. It was a mantra he lived by, one that had seen him vanquish opponents time and time again. The door creaked open, and a procession of board members filed in, their suits sharp enough to cut glass. The air thickened with a palpable tension as they took their seats. All eyes on him. Herbert could sense it, the electricity of expectancy crackling around them. "Gentlemen, let's talk profits," he began, leaning forward, his voice low and commanding. "The quarterly figures are in, and while we celebrate our record-breaking growth, we must also address the impending threat from Dornsby Industries. Their latest innovation could—" His words faltered as a vivid flash of light silhouetted the room, followed by a tremendous crash. The windows shattered, sending shards of glass raining down like lethal confetti. Instinct kicked in, and Herbert ducked under the desk, heart racing, mind scrambling to process the chaos. "Get down!" someone shouted, but the warning had already become a symphony of panic. The board members scattered, some rushing toward the exit, others collapsing in blind terror. Another explosion rocked the building, and Herbert felt the floor shake beneath him. With a guttural roar, a figure burst into the room, silhouetted by the flames that flickered behind him. A giant clad in leather armor strode forward, a hulking man wielding a massive axe, his face contorted in a brutal snarl. "Thorne," he bellowed, voice booming like thunder, "your empire ends here." Herbert's survival instincts kicked in. He leaped from beneath the desk, surveying the thrilling. The world, once predictable, spiraled into chaos around him, and yet the instinct to survive urged him forward. He burst through the exit, emerging into the rain-soaked streets, the dark clouds looming overhead, as if reflecting the turmoil within him. Herbert stumbled onto the sidewalk, panting. Confusion wrapped around everything like a thick fog. A few blocks away, fire trucks screeched to a halt, and uniformed officers charged toward the skyscraper. He turned back for one fleeting glance. Black smoke billowed from the building, and in that moment, his empire seemed to go up in flames with it. Breathtaking dread gripped him as reality settled in. He was now just a man on the run, stripped of the power and influence he had clung to for years. A realization burrowed into his mind. He was not merely facing a corporate threat, but a reckoning for a life based on ruthless ambition. As he fled into the narrow alleyways of the city, Herbert felt a strange sensation wash over him. With each step, a yearning took root, a desire for something different, something simpler, away from the chaos of corporate warfare. But before he could dwell further, a dazzling light engulfed him, blinding and all-consuming. A vibrant haze swirled around him, and the sounds of the city faded into a soft whisper. In an instant, everything changed. The ground beneath him felt odd, squishy and wet, a stark contrast to the pavement of the urban jungle he had fled. The air stank of muck and decay, and the distant croak of frogs interrupted the tranquil silence that had replaced the clamor of the city. As the light receded, Herbert blinked against the new reality. He stood in a swamp, thick fog curling around gnarled trees and stagnant water. He wore crude clothing, tattered green rags that clung to his damp skin. Confusion washed over him like the murky water at his feet. Where am I?" he mumbled, trying to find some semblance of the world he knew. His heart sank as he recalled the last moments of his executive life, the raw terror of that moment, the axe descending towards him. Had he really died? A rustling sound drew his attention, and he turned to find a diminutive creature peering at him from behind a nearby tree, a goblin. Its skin was a sickly green, and its beady eyes bore a look of both curiosity and mischief. "Oi, you not lost, are ya?" the goblin chortled, revealing surprisingly sharp teeth. "You look daft in dat get-up, human." Human? The word hit him like a slap. Had he truly been reborn into this grotesque reality? It took a moment for Herbert to regain his composure. The warmth of power and control washed away, replaced by a sense of trepidation and perhaps a strange thrill. He was Herbert Thorne, the ruthless corporate giant, an executive feared and revered. Now, however, he was merely a stranger in a strange land, a place where his cunning and strategies might still hold sway, but in an entirely different game, one where survival depended on wit more than wealth. Little did he know, he was about to plunge into a world fraught with intrigue, adventure, and the endless challenges of reigning over a chaotic goblin clan. The swamp, with all its murky shadows and trickling waters, might just be the launching pad for his greatest venture yet, the birth of a new empire. As Herbert took his first steps deeper into this wild land, visions of corporate strategies danced in his mind. There was no user manual for this new life, but if he could bootstrap a company from the ground up in his previous existence, surely he could do the same among the goblins. His rebirth into a world of wonders and absurdities was just the beginning. It was time to awaken the spirit of enterprise in a realm where goblins ruled the day, and he was determined to win them over, one clever scheme at a time.